Well, Joey, they're still watching us, so they must have come back from commercial break.
They must have liked the sponsors, the message, and so now they're back to see what more we can do.
That's right. Well, let's go bass fishing. I know you want to.
I do, and you know, this is fun because I've seen Brian Carper out on the lake before, and neither one of us look like this when we're out on the water.
It can get pretty dirty.
We can, but that's the fun part. Now tell me, you know, this is a time when people struggle, and I know when you're guiding, one of the challenges when you're guiding is to make the customer happy, because I know a lot of satisfied customers go with you, but they want to catch a fish, a bunch of fish, big fish, a bunch of big fish. How do you tell me what's going on right now, and what do you do? What do you do to keep people with little smiles on their faces when they're coming in?
Well, there's a couple things going on, and there's different patterns and strategies that you can use for different clients. And one of the most important things that I find with the clients that come into my boat is first figuring out and adapting to what their skill level is. Some people are more skilled. Well, you can give them a bait cast with 11-inch worm, and you know that you have somebody that you can go target to your skill level, the fish that you want. Other people are not as skilled or beginners, and there's nothing obviously wrong. Everybody starts somewhere, and we will change and adapt what type of presentation and lures we're going to use so they can enjoy themselves and also have an experience catching bass that they would not do if they did not come out with me in the guide service. So we'll initially start with where they're at, and then come beside them and help carry them through the day with what will help them catch fish. And one pattern that we're doing now is we're always starting top water in the morning. It can produce a big fish or many fish.
Let me stop you. Morning being what time?
We are
not on a guide trip, but if you wanted to go catch topwater fish at Priest, Old Hickory, or something like that, what time would you be starting?
About 5 o'clock. As early as you can get on the water with safe light. Top water, pop-ars and buzz baits, shallow water, either near deep water where they're coming up and feeding on flats. We start as early as we can, and we go about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depends on the weather.
Targeting any laydowns on there? Sighted cover?
On Percy Priest, we will
unsighted?
hit cover. Shallow cover, flats, and you can see the shad flipping everywhere. Tons of fish. You'll catch yellow bass and white bass, but we're looking for those flats that are right near channels, near the ledges we'll fish in the day, and they're coming up and hitting those baits.
Get your map out.
4 or 6 feet of water.
Yeah. When we say shallow, I know when we're talking shallow, we're talking the same thing, but for our viewers, when you're talking shallow and shallow close to deep water, give them a perspective of what shallow and shallow close to deep water is.
If I'm going shallow, I'm going to fish anywhere from a foot to 6 to 8 feet.
Okay. And deep water close to that is what?
15 to 25
So it could
feet.
drop off pretty significantly.
Yeah. And that's for the summer. I mean, I could say I'm fishing shallow in the spring, and we're sitting 6 inches to 3 feet.
Now, a really key and important thing that he was saying was when you're on shallow water and then you move off to deep water, that's where you lose a lot of people, because we're such visual creatures that most of the time what happens to people is they want to see a log out here and say, I want to go fish that log. Well, at 11 o'clock on Percy Priest Lake, you can fish the heck out of that log, but you're not probably going to catch much. And if you're targeting big fish, you got to move out and move off the shoreline. And I know beating the bank is, people like to do that. They feel comfortable doing that. And for some reason feel uncomfortable going deep. What do you do there? What do you do? I know you're trying to get the client on, on some big fish.
Yeah.
So what's the deal?
Well, the best thing I can do is try to draw a illustration of what we're actually fishing. Even for me going to a different lake, if it's Kentucky Lake or whatnot, if I don't really know what I'm throwing at, then you feel like you're just throwing out in the middle of nowhere. So I try to draw this as a point. It comes out, we're on 12 feet, it goes to 25 feet. If you throw that way, you're on 6 feet. So I kind of at least have an idea what they're fishing. Besides for that, the best thing you can do is just kind of have them cast that way, and just drag the bottom. If you feel something and it pulls back, set the hook.
It's free, right?
That's right. Everything else costs something.
Now let's change gears. I know you call in a fishing report on the website for Percy Priest and other lakes. Take us to Old Hickory. We've got grass, stumps, current. Take us there.
Old Hickory can be significantly different. This time of year, especially the last few weeks, they've been pulling a lot of water, and that will bring a lot of these fish up on the bank right outside the ledges. I mean, up and down Old Hickory, you have a lot of islands that it is loaded with wood, laydowns and grass, and you can get up in those shallows with crankbaits or spinnerbaits, and in the mornings is great, but that will also continue into the sun, into after the sun rises, and you can stay there while they are just setting themselves up with the current coming down, and they're just watching for anything to come by and
don't be
feed.
afraid to throw those crankbaits in the cover. A lot of people say, I paid $8 for that. Well, if you don't want to lose it, leave it in the tackle box.
And if you're fishing real shallow, don't be scared to go up there and give it a little pop. I've broken some rods, so it's got to be little to get your lure out.
Well,
guys,
we could talk all day.
I know y'all want to keep talking bass fishing.
Let's go out in the boat and talk about
we're
this.
getting the sign. Remember your sunscreen. Don't be scared of the heat.
Oh, yes.
Go out and catch some bass.
That's right.
Or call Brian, and he'll be glad to take you.
I will.
Thanks, Brian. We appreciate you coming in.
More welcome. Thank you.